Welcome to Health Coach for Women, a podcast where we explore alternative and holistic solutions to better health and wellness through intentional living. Now, here's your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker.
Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Health Coach for Women, a podcast where we explore alternative and holistic solutions to better health and wellness. And I am your host, Marsha. Thank you so much for joining me today. All right. So, before I get started, I always have a quote, but I'd like for you to go ahead and hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Now, how do you feel about change? Are you wanting to embrace change? Do you fear change? What are your thoughts on change? And that's today's topic. Today's topic is how to thrive during the season of change, right? So this is what we'll be talking about today, how to thrive through change. So, last week, I was in a little bit of a blah mood, right? Just coming back from vacation and me being happy about my happiness of just being with family and friends, with my husband and his friend and his wife, and coming back and enjoying my cruise, and then coming back to all this news of death, right? So it did put a little damper in my spirit, but I know that death is a part of life, right? And so I'm feeling much better than last week, right? And so as human beings, we have those moments, and you wouldn't be human if you didn't have some type of feelings or felt some type of way, right? So, but feeling much better. And as we look at change, right? Change is something that's inevitable, right? It's inevitable. And so we need to be able to go through change. But let me go ahead and give you this quote. So in any given moment, we have two options: to step forward into growth or to step back into safety. And this is by Abraham Maslow. Not sure who he is, but I like that, right? So we have to be willing to step forward into growth, because that's what change is, right? Change could be, it depends on your perception of how you view things, right? It could be looked at as a way of growth. It could be looked at something as maybe a setback, right? It's all in how you perceive it, right? And sometimes we can experience those setbacks, right? And difficulties. But sometimes we look at it as a bad, but it really is for good. And so just as the seasons change every year, we have the 4 seasons, right? Just as we have the 4 seasons, we ourselves need to have the ability to change, right? And we have to learn and have the ability to adapt, because without the ability to adapt, that is the moment when we will crash and burn, right? And so we are resilient. We are a resilient people. We are resilient. We've been through so much, right? Various cultures, various people have been through, right? Even the what is the Neanderthal or whatever, right? So all of this things of change, right? And evolving, evolution, right? And that's another topic, right? Because some people say, well, evolution is not real, but whatever. I diverge for a second. But the point I'm trying to make is that we all have to go through this process of change, right? Even animals have to go through the process of change. During the seasons, right? During those seasons and the climates where the climate is changed, right? And you have the fruitful season where they can graze and eat. And then they have the barren season, the drought season, when they are they're always in survival mode, but when they are even more in survival mode, struggling to survive, right? So we all have to be able to adapt and to go with the flow and adjust with change. Right. And so that's why I wanted to talk about that today. How are you dealing with change? How are you coping with change? How do you perceive change? Right? How do you perceive change? Right? Is change something that you are fearful of? Right? You run from change, right? And you run and go into safety, right? Where the quote says, he says, or step back into safety. Right? Your comfort zone, where you feel safe. right? Or do you take the chance and be willing to grow and step outside of your comfort zone, right? We have to be able to do that, right? We have to be able to do the latter, where we are able to step outside of our comfort zone and to grow and to evolve and to adapt, right? And this is how we develop resilience, right? This is how we develop resilience and not being afraid of the unknown, right? Not being afraid of the unknown. And so how do we do that? How do we learn how to thrive during a time of change, right? And so one of the things that, I always talk about, of course, is practicing mindfulness. But what I want to say on top of that, even more important than that, is connecting, right, with ourselves, right, and trusting who we are, right, and trusting ourselves and not being afraid, right? We need to trust our intuition and not be afraid, right? And with that comes, our faith. How deep is your faith? How strong is your faith, right? And your beliefs. What are your beliefs? How strongly do you believe that things that happen to you are meant to happen, and it's only for a good? Whether it is something that that is something sad, whether it's something that could be life-changing, devastating, whatever it is, right? These things that we encounter and experience is only for our own personal growth. It is only to strengthen us. But we have to change the way that we perceive things and how we view it. We have to look at it as of course, now during that time when we're going through it, sometimes it's hard to think logically and without that feeling of fear during that time when you're actually in it. But that is why having faith is so important. Right. And so what I mean by faith is your belief, right? Your connection to source, the higher power, whatever you may choose to call the higher power, right? Having faith in yourself as well as and trusting that the higher power, source, God, the creator of all, has your back, right? And knowing that everything that you go through is for a reason, right? For a reason and a season. And I've talked about this before in some other previous podcasts, right? I've talked about seasons, the seasons, weathering the storm, going through the seasons of change, right? Because our body as we know it also goes with the seasons, right? And some people may not be aware of that, but we're also in tune with nature, unknowingly and knowingly, right? We're in tune, or we can be not in tune, but our bodies are naturally in tune with nature, right? And I won't go into a long thing on that, but I want us to stay focused on a topic of change, right? So we have to be able to know, that's why it's important to practice mindfulness. That is why it's important to staying prayed up with your spirituality, right? Whether it's reading your Bible, your Quran, your Torah, whatever, the Vedas, whatever it is that you believe, right? And so we need to be able to making sure that we stay connected and grounded, right? It's so important. We need to stay grounded. We need to stay connected. We also need to, once we have faith, right, and we have our faith in what we believe, then you become fearless, right? You can become fearless, right? And once you trust and you know that you're safe and you're protected, you really have nothing to worry about. Even when you can be going through the roughest times, right? The roughest times of being displaced from your home, right? Being evicted, not having anywhere to stay, but still being able to have a peace of mind, or even to say that, you know what, during this time, and I'm aware of what happened that led me here, right? but I'm okay and I'm going to be okay. And some of you may say, well, that's easy for you to say. Yeah, I know it's easy for me to say. I can say it because I've lived it and I've done it. And I'm still here today. Survived bankruptcy, survived being homeless. Okay. I've survived it all. Two bankruptcies. I'm still here. Anything I talk about, people, guys, ladies, sisters, listen, anything I talk about is things that I've actually been through and gone through, right? I may not speak about it on every single episode because I don't have to. But if you know anything about me and if you've read the book Transcendence, I've talked about so many different things, right? With my health, being anemic, vitamin D deficient, depression, all of these things, right? ADHD, what is it? ADHD, what attention deficit. I've talked about all of these things, right?
If you are struggling with health issues like chronic pain, being held back by past traumas, or feeling overwhelmed and hopeless, please know there is hope. There is help. Transcendence, a woman's guide to healing and self-love for better health, happiness, and abundance, is a blueprint to help you get your life back and reclaim your health. Within its pages, you'll learn how to elevate your existence by shifting your mindset toward the positive, focusing your energy on what's really important, using gratitude to feel deep appreciation, changing your gene expression through epigenetics, building resilience, and living in a state of flow, feeling love overflow within. Go beyond an ordinary life. Transcend. Buy it now.
So anything I talk to you, I'm not talking from a place of just talking to talk. I'm talking because I've actually done it and lived it. So, and I'm still here and I'm surviving and I'm in a good place, a good space, and I'm okay, right? And so what I want for you, right? What I want for you is the best for you, right? And to know that when you are going through change and through a hard time, know that it is not meant to harm you in any way. It is only a life lesson for you to learn from it, right? Strengthen and learn from it and to move forward and to push forward, right? I talked about hardships all the time. I always use the analogy, even comparing to with animals, right? How they also experience hardship, right? Yes, they may have their freedom and they don't have to clock in at a job and go 9 to 5, but every day is a struggle for survival, right? Every day, right? Especially those when the lions is out, when the lions have to defend their pride and protect the whole pride, and the lioness have to go out and get food. It's a job, right? And she can't even eat first. Hey, how about that? Ain't that about a blip? She can't even eat first. The king has to eat first, right? So, I mean, in all these different animal kingdoms, right? There is always something. There's something that when they go through the time of giving birth, right? It's a dangerous time. They're at the most vulnerable moment, but they have to do what they have to do. And then that calf, that fawn, right, have to stand up quickly, immediately after birth. Can't even get a chance to lay down and take a little rest from struggling to come out the birth canal. Gotta get up on your feet, because guess what? Every moment counts, because you could be eaten. Boy, they go through some rough stuff too, okay? So I say all this to say, right? As we are moving closer to the ending of the year, wherever you are in this point in your life, right? What is change going to look like for you? Do you have anything set in place that you're striving for? Or maybe your goal is, you know what, I'm good where I'm at, I'm happy, but I'm also willing to step forward out of my comfort zone to do something different, whatever it is. I don't know. Maybe you want to venture into something new, maybe starting a new business, whether it's writing a book, maybe creating something, doing something for children, maybe it's that nonprofit, whatever it is. Know that life is short, okay? Life is short and we're not promised tomorrow. So every day that you delay the process of moving forward towards your dream is another day lost, right? Is another day lost. And that's how you have to look at it, because none of us is promised tomorrow. So what about creating your vision board? Now, I remember I used to do this, right? Creating a vision board. What if you are someone who's having a hard time, right, with learning how to change, adapting to change, right? What about having a new vision, setting a new vision, right? Setting a new vision for yourself. What are some of the things that you're looking for, as we move forward into 2025? Is it better health, improving your health? What's your priority? Remember, I talked about prioritizing what matters most, right? So, what matters most for you? What do you want to do? Do you want to make sure that you want to at least lose 10 pounds by the ending of, I don't know, by the ending of 2025? I don't know. Maybe you only want to lose 10 pounds. Maybe you want to lose 20 pounds. Maybe you want to lose 100 pounds. Maybe you don't want to lose any pounds. Maybe you want to just do something different. Whatever it is, stop delaying. Okay. And go with the flow of change and not be afraid. Water, right? Water, we know it flows, right? It flows, right? Rivers flows to oceans, right? So that water has that fluidity, right? Where it flows. Now in the ocean, you have waves, right? You have different currents, right? Some it may be gentle, right? We went to 2 different beaches, and I'm just using it as a comparison. One beach, I can't remember which one it was. The water was calm, right? The water was very calm. It was just perfect, beautiful. I think that was in the Grand Cayman, I think. But Bimini, Bahamas, I think the weather was a little different there. So the water, the current, I think there was during that time, it was supposed to storm. It was a little windy, but no rain came. Thank you. No rain, no storm, no nothing. It was fine. But the current was a little stronger. The current was a little stronger than the last place that we went to. So everything will not always be the same, guys. You have to be willing to embrace change, not be afraid. Stay in your faith. Stay connected to source. Be grounded. Learn how to be grounded, right? These are the things that can help you thrive, right? Don't continue to beat yourself up about things from the past, right? Nor should you be worrying and stressing over things of the future. You can have ideas and plans and create and try to create strategic strategies in place, right? You can do that, right? Creating those smart goals and trusting the process. In anything you do, there's always going to be some hiccups, right? There's always going to be some little hiccups or setbacks, but it's okay, right? Don't worry, have faith, continue to stay strong. And if you don't have that strength, this is the time you should be seeking that. This is the time you should be seeking strength, encouragement, staying prayed up, armored up, whatever it is. Like I said, that's important in values that you believe. For me, it's always about being prayed up, right? Making sure that I don't lose touch of the present moment, right? Being in touch of the present moment. So that's important. We don't want to dwell and focus on the past, because that's what keeps us stuck. Okay, that's what keeps us stuck, when we continue to just dwell on the past and can't move forward. You staying stuck and you can't move forward. So you really have to do something in here in your mind. You have to make that shift. You have to make the mindset shift, to make the decision to change and embrace change, and know that it is only meant for your good, right? The Creator only wants good for us. And the things that the Creator wants for us to learn from our life lessons, stay prayed and connected, and having a relationship with the Creator, right? And it doesn't matter what religion or faith or whatever, but if you believe in the Creator, the higher power, right? These things are important. These things are important. So embrace change, right? Learn to go with the flow of life. Learn to have the ability to adapt, all right? And listen, as we are moving towards 2025, because it's near, right? We're already in September. We don't have far to go, right? Let us be more mindful, show acts of kindness, right? Show acts of kindness to one another, right? Show gratitude, express gratitude, do something nice for someone without expecting anything in return. And when someone is criticizing you and judging you, take it for what it's worth, right? Remember, reflection is a good way, is to really reflect on yourselves and to learn and to learn yourself, to learn more about yourself, right? Reflection. All right. So that is all I wanted to talk about today. All right. And so until next time, I will see you next week. Surprisingly, I didn't have a chance to really go over and talk about some smoothies and some recipes and things like that. I have to get my little all my ingredients and all of that stuff and put that together. So I would try. I'm not going to guarantee and say that that's what I'll be working on doing for next week, but I'm going to try. All right. So I know we're already moving almost closer to moving into fall. But hey, smoothies, healthy eating, healthy living, it comes all year round. It's all year round. Okay. But until next time, bye for now.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Health Coach for Women with Marsha Roopchand-Walker. If you've enjoyed this episode, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.